Hi, I'm Dan Fazio with Vetrepreneur, and today we're talking with Mark Scott and Debbie Scott, who both help veterans who are interested in becoming business owners. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Dan.
for inviting us.
Yeah, so Mark is the director of the Veterans Business Outreach Center at Mississippi State University, and Debbie is the director of the Boots to Business Revenue Ready program. I guess course is a better description. It's a virtual course also through Mississippi State. And today we're going to find out about both of these invaluable resources for veterans who want to be business owners. Mark, if it's okay, let's start with you.
Okay.
What's
sorry.
a Veteran Business Outreach Center? I mean, some people call them VBOCs, but what is it? And then how does it help veterans?
We're a world of acronyms. So, yeah, we are called VBOCs, but it stands for Veterans Business Outreach Center. And the key thing to remember is that we are what is referred to in the general ecosystem. We are an SBA, Small Business Administration resource partner. So we are funded through a cooperative agreement with SBA that flows through Mississippi State University here, and we are housed within our College of Business. So that's sort of the funding mechanics. So we are, like I said, we are what is called a resource partner, and obviously by what is in our name, we are focused on veterans. Now, when we or Debbie mentions veterans, let me assure you, we're talking about veterans and military spouses. That's our customer market, if you will, and that's who we support. And like our VBOCs begin in the 2013 time frame. We were one of the first 15, and we were established in 2015. And I've been the director since 2015. And so we have been here quite a while. Now, VBOCs have expanded to last year. We added up 6 more, so we're now 28 VBOCs spread regionally, states across the U.S., and we either serve regions or a specific state. The VBOC at Mississippi State, for example, we cover Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi. And our way I put it, our 3 number 1 missions, or our top number 1 missions, is we provide the instruction and the oversight for a program called Boots to Business. That's the umbrella program that when a veteran or military spouse wants to learn about entrepreneurship, and especially the veterans that's transitioning out. They go through their transition process, sort of raise their hand, say, hey, I'm interested in starting a small business. I want to learn a little bit more about that. So we offer a 2-day class at each installation we cover. We cover 10 in our territory. So we teach a 2-day class that covers everything from why you want to be in business, what value are you bringing in your idea to the customer, how to look and the importance of doing research, give a little bit about understanding the numbers. We call it economics of small business, but I guarantee you it's not an economics class. It's more about how understanding your numbers drive it. We talk about different legal business structures, sole proprietorships versus LLCs. We show them how the business plan is very important, especially if you're seeking outside funding. Deb's going to talk about a very unique program that SBA has Office of Veteran Business Development has established that helps those veterans and military spouses get that business plan. And then we talk about the different ways you can finance your business, including what an SBA guaranteed loan and how that process works. And then we close out by talking about all the different resources that are out there. So it's somewhat of a 10 to 15,000 foot intro level, but it's jam-packed with 2 days of information that's provided to the veteran or mil spouse wanting to learn about what it takes, if you will, to start a small business. And then, of course, like I said, one of the themes out of it is you're not alone in this process. And we want to make sure you understand that the VBOC is out there as one of your resources. And it's our mission also to understand all the other resources that are out there available. So after this, if they want to come to us for business counseling, further coaching, we do that. We also do resource referral. We do a lot of outreach trying to make sure people are aware of not only the VBOC but the resources out there through SBA to help small businesses. In our particular case, we also host some additional training webinars, anywhere from introduction to government contracting for people who want to pursue that customer, social media and how important social media is to all new businesses today, and then how to become lender ready. And then last July, SBA and the White House put emphasis on assisting military spouses, primarily focused at the military spouse that's still on active duty, that's moving from installation to installation with their spouse. How can they start a business? So a lot of what we teach in Boots to Business is same, but we also focus on e-commerce and transportability of a business from installation to installation. So that sounds like a lot that we do, and it is a lot of information that we provide in those couple of days, plus follow up with business counseling and resource referrals. What we do, and like I said, we're an SBA resource partner. We report into the Office of Veteran Business Development within SBA, who has a singular focus of helping military and military spouses that are transitioning or still in, help start their business or grow their business. And so SBA is, focused on with an own department, own division, if you will, that supports veterans and military spouses.
Well, that really does sound like a lot.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's a great resource. Do you also do the Reboots virtual classes?
Yes, Boots to Business that we do on the installation. We do about monthly a live virtual online version to capture people that have left the service and they're saying, hey, I want to explore small business ownership, or the Guard or the reservists, because they're in for 20, 30 years, and they might they're part-time to the Guard, and they might want to explore their business opportunities. So that's where we catch the Guard and reserves and other military spouses that are looking at small business ownership. We do it in 2 half days, because staying on a Zoom session to us beyond 4 hours gets a little tough at times. And so we do it in 2 morning sessions from 8:30 to about 12:30, about once a month. We do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, days that we pick. We record each one of those sessions, and so they get the same basic information. And as Deb will talk about, you have to have our Boots to Business or Reboot to be eligible to take the follow-on program. It's a little bit more intense than ours. We're sort of the basic, get the information out to get them excited about exploring a little bit more in the small business area.
Yeah, well, that's a really good segue to Debbie. Debbie, tell us a little bit about the Boots to Business Revenue Readiness course. How did it get started, when it started, and what it is?
Okay. As Mark mentioned, it's a follow-on course to either the Boots to Business or the Reboot. And somebody says, okay, well, I considered the things that I heard in that introduction course, and that sounds good. I'd like to take it a step further. And so what the Revenue Readiness class does, it's over a 6-week period, but we help them refine the business model of how they're going to operate their business and then turn that into a business plan, including financials. It started in 2017. We responded to a need that SBA had to have a robust follow-on for those students or veterans and spouses that wanted to move to that next level. And we proposed a very high-touch approach to doing it. We have 2 instructors per class. We meet that are both veterans and business owners themselves. So even though the funds flow from SBA through Mississippi State, it's not a bunch of professors. It is people who have been there and done that. We meet twice a week for an hour on Zoom, go over the material for that week live, and then they have homework that's due every Sunday night towards towards this program and towards their business plan. So for instance, the first 2 weeks, we focus on something called a business model canvas, and they're really working on their model. They don't have to worry about grammar or formatting or anything like that. It's getting those ideas down on a sheet of paper. And they get the feedback from their instructors. Again, I mentioned, I think there's 2 per class, is what I mentioned. And so they'll get feedback on their specific plan, not just as a group, but on their very specific plan, personal feedback. The second 2 weeks, we start migrating that information into the business plan tool, which we use as Live Plan. And those second 2 weeks, they start working on the narrative portion. They turn that into words. They turn into the written plan. So in my prior, I was with the Small Business Development Center, and we did not have that tool at the time. You know, there's a challenge when people are looking at a blank sheet of paper. Where do I even start? What goes in a business plan? I've never even seen one before. What does it look like? And so taking it in this baby steps way, develop the content and then put the content in the plan has seemed to be very successful. And then the last 2 weeks, we take those words and turn them into numbers and work on the forecast and the financials. We have additional sessions embedded in there. For instance, we have a really big push on going out and talking to people, talking to customers. Part of your market research needs to get away from the reports and actually talk to potential customers. So we have an assignment on them building a set of questions to how to go out and do those interviews, gather that data, so they have that for their plan. We have a session on social media on the importance of making sure that you plan for that. We don't teach them how to do it, but here's how it fits into the whole model. And then at the end of the course, we offer one-on-one sessions. At the end of the course, we connect them with their VBOC. So we're not dropping them off the edge of the cliff. They may already be connected with their VBOC, but we reconnect them back and say, hey, you know, here's where they got to in the course. Maybe they need more assistance. Maybe they're ready to take it to the next step. But we leave them within the ecosystem there. And so since 2017, we've had over 3,200 graduates. Wow. It is a global program. The VBOCs, there's 28 of them, and then Boots to Business is also taught overseas. And so anybody who graduates from any of those, that an intro course is eligible to take this follow-on. Okay. So we have hit all 50 states and over 300 overseas. So,
Debbie, do you have any? Do you have a story, a success story of a veteran who went through the program and then, actually started a business that took off?
Yeah, we've got several. And in fact, we're doing surveys back to 2017, and there's, several hundred, that are responding and saying, yes, I went into business from those early days. We're kind of moving it forward. But one that I really like to point out is somebody who's here locally. She's worked with both our program and Mark, but she is a veteran, and she was really, her story was, COVID hit, and the company she worked for laid everybody off. And she really decided maybe she needed to have something where she was in control of her own life and her own future. And there happened to be an antique store that the person was wanting to sell, had owned it for a number of years. And she contacted the VBOC, contacted us. We got her involved in all the programs. Completed her business. She got her business plan completed as a part of that process and was able to get the loan to buy the building, the business, and move on out. And she's now in her 4th year. Last year, she was the Mississippi SBA Rural Business of the Year. And then she's passing it on because part of her antique store has 20 vendors who are small businesses themselves. They have a booth, and then she's passing it along to kind of teach them some of the things that she has learned and encourage that small business community.
Wow, that must be so rewarding for you guys to see that kind of success.
Yeah, it is. It kind of, every once in a while you think, did I make a difference? And then you find out, oh, yes, they did this and they're doing great. Yeah. And then Mark.
Just to you a quick one, success story that we just recently had, and we'll be submitting them to SBA as a success story, is that we got contacted by one of referred, and a client out of Louisiana contacted us, and his wife is the veteran, and he is the military spouse. And his last 2 years that she was in the service, he went back and became a veterinarian. So out of Virginia Tech, got his doctorate degree, and they moved back to Louisiana. He's working for another veterinarian clinic, and an opportunity to buy a business came up. A person was retiring and wanted to sell, but still wanted to be in the business. And they contacted us, and they went through our courses, and it was a pretty large purchase, close to $1 million. And they didn't think they could do it, but they got through the business plan and laid out the business case. We got them hooked up with a lender that specialized in medical practices and veterinarian practices as well. And they closed on their loan back in September of last year, and they're up and running. So he has his own clinic. So that's one of our military spouse success. So those are, one is, been going for a couple of years. So this is just a recent one. And those are ones that are very rewarding. And as Deb would tell you, that both of these individuals or families, not only were they willing to reach out and look for assistance, but they took a lot of initiative all through what we did with them and what Deb with them in the course. And that's, it was their personality and their desire that made this a success. We just sort of pointed them in the right directions, but sometimes that's what everybody needs. And so, and one thing I want to talk, that Deb's program's been around and it's not stagnant. She's redone the curriculum a few times to adapt, and just sort of the latest one is that the AI craze is out there, and the life plan, the process that she uses, we use to develop the business plan. We did a big study with the MBA team that Mississippi State allowed us to use last year, and we developed a way to incorporate the AI correctly into helping you write that business plan. So it's, I just wanted to point that out, that it's, a lot of people hear stuff about AI. There's some good and some bad about it, but I think Deb and her team has initiated a way that will help people rewrite and make their plan even better. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, it can be a very good tool. Just have to be careful with it. It's still new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't jump immediately into it without kind of having a study. Yeah.
Well, if you could, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to tell you that another success story that we had, that we've been working for with this individual for a couple of years, that we'd talked about before. He purchased a franchise, and he sort of came to us after he put some money down towards the franchise and said, "Hey, I got this territory, and I put some money down," and sort of made us a little bit nervous, right? And I said, "Hey, have you gone through the franchise disclosure document stuff?" He said, "Well, I looked through it and it looked good." So we sat him down and went through it, and he grasped that maybe he jumped a little bit ahead in the process, but again, he was an individual that knew what he wanted, and took a lot of guidance from ourselves and my other business counsel on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, Mike, and he's turned around. He's in his third year, and he's gone over 600,000 in revenue. So it made us a little bit nervous, but that started halfway through the process. But he's turned out he'll be another great success story, and he's looking to grow. So
yeah, well, that's good to know that you also help veterans who want to get into franchising.
Yeah, franchises are very, very popular with the franchises, because they, obviously they like to hire veterans, and some give veterans discounts because they know that veteran knows, we call it, like, he or she knows how to read a playbook, and can take something and take that playbook and go make it happen. They might not have all the business background they need, and that's where the franchise comes in and can provide them that background. And what we do is just make sure that They understand how a franchise operates to some degree, and what that franchise is going to do for you, and what you're going to do for the franchise. And we find as long as everybody understands that, then things go very well. So
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much for this overview of what you do, how you help veterans, and thank you for what you do in helping veterans get into business. Very much appreciate your time today. Is there anything you'd like to add?
We appreciate you taking the time to and helping get the word out there. That's one of the challenges in making sure that we support veterans of all eras. So if you've been out 5 or 10 years and want to learn more about entrepreneurship and small business ownership, that's what we're here for. And we enjoy doing this. It's sort of our second career. We are both retired from a different life, but primarily in the defense industry. So if anybody wants to talk about government contracting, the defense industry, we got a little background in that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, guys.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks, Dan.